Hi guys, so just to continue on our conversation from where we stopped previously, my friend got back to me with some responses, and I do really agree with some of the things he said. I think for some of us we don't give enough credence to Nnamdi Kanu. I do feel like for someone to be able to tap into what is going on in Nigeria at the moment, and not just this year but last year, last 2 years, last 5 years, last 10 years. The guy has been consistent. The guy has been riding the wave of unpopular governments, So we have to, of course, acknowledge that it's not easy. It takes someone that is smart, it takes someone of a different mindset to, what. People are feeling so bad about the government. People are dying. People are hungry. There is unemployment. There is insecurity. So it takes someone of a different caliber to try to raise the awareness and try to shine a light on what the Igbo people, in parentheses, are going through. However, that doesn't mean that we cannot poke some holes in his arguments. I feel like, yes, some of the arguments has been, like my friend said, we have to abolish the 1999 Constitution. I don't think any document in the world, when it comes to Constitution, is perfect. There is really no country that we can point to and we say, even America, for example, that they have a perfect Constitution. It's not possible. Things change. We evolve as human beings. We can't say that a document that was made maybe 5 decades ago or in some countries 100 years ago can still be relevant today. The only thing that we can do is we can make it better. We can look at it and say these are the weaknesses. I don't really agree that we should just point blank do away with the whole Constitution. I feel like the Constitution as a federal system of government that Nigeria practices, the way the Constitution has been set up is been set up to give states that don't have a lot of money. For example, I don't know, some states in the north, it makes sure that everyone is equal. So we're going to take some money from Lagos State, we're going to take some money from the east, and make sure that the northern people are all right. I think it's very important because in the federal system of government, what you want to do is you want to carry everybody along. The only issue is because it comes back to the same argument, which is because of the way Nigeria is. And it's not really a problem of the Nigerian people, it's a problem of our leaders. We've taken this great idea, which is the Constitution, which, in my opinion, while it's not perfect, however, I think it's the document on its own does a lot of things, does a lot of good things. However, because it's Nigeria, our leaders have taken this Constitution and they've made it powerless, kind of. So I feel that one way we can solve this issue, I believe in my heart, is a change in leadership in Nigeria. We have to, at some point, start questioning our leaders. We have to, at some point, start asking the question of, some of the things the Constitution said is true, is right. But the problem now is in the making of the pudding. The pudding itself is good, nothing is wrong with the food. But the problem is, who are those that are making that food? Who are the people that have been enshrined to protect this Constitution? Who are our leaders? So I think that's one of the first issues he made, and just to argue against that, I feel that the 1999 Constitution on its own is good to go for Nigeria. Another issue he talked of is about state police. He made mention of the fact that in America you have NYPD, California Police Department, Florida Police Department, and the rest. And what I will point my fellow Nigerians to is, if we look at what the Southwest did with Amotokun, the Southwest, they opened their own security outfits. Couple of months down the line, the Southeast followed as well. And that alone should tell us that if we can have regional police like Amotokun and Ebubedike and in the Southeast, that means that our governors can set up their own security outfits. There is nobody preventing Anambra State Governor, Imo State Governor from setting up their own police departments. if we could do it at the regional level and no one said it was illegal or unlawful, I mean, go to the Southwest today, you're going to see Amozokun vans patrolling. I don't know about the Southeast because it just opened, I think, last month, so I don't know how effective they are yet. But we've not seen any state governor say, you know what, I think I'm going to take up the mantle and try to set up my own state police, which is a good idea. I've talked about this with my wife recently. Like, it's a good idea. However, we don't have leaders. Like I said before, it all boils down to leadership. We don't have leaders that are willing to take the risk and say, I've had enough of all of this rubbish. I've had enough of all of this insecurity. It's time I take the bull by the horns and try to solve it the way I think is best, which is to set up my own police department. But the issue is this: because we lack trust in our leaders. We don't even trust them to be able to do what is right. We don't even trust that if these people should set up this police department, how sure are we that they won't end up treating us badly? The same police that should protect us, like in Nigeria, are the same ones doing the same bad things to us. So we don't trust our leaders. It all boils down to there's a lack of trust. There's a massive mistrust in the system. We don't trust that anything good can come out from these people. So I think whether it comes to insecurity, whether it comes to unemployment, whatsoever it may be, if we look at the state level, we can find enough solutions. So I agree with you. I agree that state police is important. However, till we begin to see state governors take the mantle and say, I have to solve this, I have to find a way. Till that time comes, I don't think anything is going to change when it comes to the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Another issue I think is important is the issue of, because he talked about the fact that all the money the state generates goes to the federal government. I disagree with that in the sense that every state has their own IGL. Yes, the federal government gives the state money, like happens in the US, in other federal system of governments. However, each state generates its own revenue, and states could have state taxes. They could tax market people or whatever. Those monies, I don't think those monies go to the federal government. But the issue is because we have corruption. For example, I was reading a story last week or last 2 weeks about Tinubu going to the state government in Lagos and collecting 90 billion naira every month. I mean, 90 billion naira every month is a lot of money. So imagine what those in the state level are collecting as well. How about the security votes that they get from the government, which is unaccounted for? The security votes which the federal government gives them every month runs into I had is 200 million naira every month. It could be more depending on the states. So what happens to those monies? Where do those monies go to? You know, what 200 million naira every month could solve the issue of education, it could solve the issue of security. So yes, some monies go to the federal government. However, I still believe that, like I said previously, if there was no money in the state government, we wouldn't see a lot of people trying to become governors in states in Nigeria. If the state government was poor, we wouldn't see these guys coming to power and then suddenly become so rich. And another point which he made, which goes to the point of leadership which goes to the point of having credible, good leaders, is what happened in Imo State. Yes, I agree. Very into so I agree that we should never ever have the federal government coming to the state government and trying to interfere. What they did was wrong. For you to take someone that got fought in the election and make him governor of Imo State through using the Supreme Court, that's totally wrong. But what I will say to you in argument against it is this: in a state where things are working well, in a country where things are working well, what Imo people would have done is, one, you boycott Imo states, you do sit-ins. Every Imo person that believes he was wrong by the decision of the Supreme Court should go to the government house and sit down on the main road and don't leave. So that's in countries where things work well, that would have happened. I mean, look at what happened in Wall Street after what happened in the financial crash of 2008. People were willing to go to the street and sit down and demand that things are done right. So in a country where things are working, if such a thing were ever to happen, the people of Imo State will rise up and say, you know what, enough is enough. We're not going to take this for me. Because if millions of Imo people went out, left their homes, and flooded the streets of Imo State for months, there is no way that decision wouldn't have been reversed. I believe it in my heart. But the issue is because it's Nigeria. Because the federal government knows, just like you said yourself, because the federal government knows that if they do it, nothing will happen. If they pick someone through the Supreme Court and put him in there, life will go on. That's the reason why they did it, because they know we have a weak country. Our people were not united. So if our people were united, and if things were working in Nigeria or even in Imo State, the moment I'd forgotten his name, the moment the guy just the moment he was removed, the minute after, you're gonna see people leave their homes and take to the streets. You're gonna see people boycott whatever Zodoma is doing. You're gonna see people go to the streets of government's house and demand that Hilda gets back his position. So it tells you that we have a weak government, we have a weak state, we have a weak country. And that's why I always say this, that's why, like I said before, we have to unite. We can't keep dividing along tribal lines or along racial lines or along, oh, this is Igbo people, this is the Yoruba, this is the Hausa. These are the issues that the elite or the godfathers see, and they say, if so long as we keep on dividing them, so long as we keep on making them fight themselves, so long as they keep on hating each other, we're going to keep looting the country, we're going to keep taking all the money in the country. And they know this, we're going to keep distracting these people with tribalism, with racial inequality, with marginalization. We're going to keep distracting them. However, behind the scenes, we're going to keep collecting all the money the country has. And that's what they're doing now. Because I believe if Igbo people were united, Hilda would never have left. He would never have left. And he knew that anybody in Nigeria knows the moment that happens, life goes on. No one is ever going to remember Hilda anymore. Like the person that's going to be there for the next 4 years, 8 years, except if something changes. But yeah, it goes as what it thinks we are right, it thinks we are done right. That should never have happened. And I agree with you on that. I agree completely. So like I said, sorry? Yeah,
I did cash out all his points.
No, just one more. Yeah, okay. Thank you. I think I made mention of this previously. I said we're not. I don't think Igbo people are scared that if we leave, we won't be able to manage ourselves. I think we can manage ourselves if we leave, for sure. We are hardworking people. When it comes to Nigeria, we have the business mindsets in the whole of Nigeria. I think all over Nigeria, we agree that Igbo people have that mindset when it comes to business. We can manage ourselves, we can do it on our own. That's fine. But the issue is why take that route if you know you can do things, you can be bigger or you can be better when you do things together with 200 million people. Because Nigeria is 200 million people and counting. Why separate and just say, okay, I'm gonna just go and be on my own with, let's say, 10 million people, or I don't know how many we are in the southeast, where we know there are other people all over Nigeria, in other states in Nigeria that we can also accommodate and do business with. So I think at some point we have to say to ourselves in the southeast, let's elect good leaders. November is coming up in Anambra election. Let's go out and get our PVC. When it comes the day to vote, Saturday, Sunday, whenever it is, we're going to go out and vote en masse. We're going to go out and make sure our voices are heard. Enough of all the talking, enough of all the Biafra, enough of all the division. When it comes to time to vote, we're not going to start sitting in our house. We're going to take our PVC. We're going to go to wherever it is. Whether it's raining, whether it's hot, whether it's sunny, we're going to go out there and make our... That's the only way I think we can change this. That's the only way. Yes, they're going to rig the election, but however, if we come out and vote in mass, if we come out and make our voices heard, thousands, millions of us come out and vote, there isn't any way they can change the election. Because if we go and say we're going to vote for A, and millions go out and vote for A, because we believe that A is the person that will change Anambra State or Imo State or whatever, the federal government cannot come out tomorrow and say, oh, we're going to just share this around. That's not possible. It's vox populi, vox Dei. The voice of people is the voice of God. When we speak as one, then we've spoken. But the issue is we are divided. You know, most of us, or let me say, some of us don't believe in Biafra. Some of us believe in Biafra. Other things divide us: unemployment, lots of issues. You know, the way Nigeria is. So let's unite around this issue. Let's unite around the fact that we want one Nigeria. We want better leaders. We want better governments.
I actually want to poke you on some things.